Hi Virgo, welcome to your June 2025 Astro Tarot read. So let's get straight into it. So this month activates the highest potential that you have, Virgo, but really in a way, it's not going to be in the way that you expect. June is a recalibration between your outer achievement and your personal inner truth. The world may be watching, but the real transformation is really going to be happening behind the scenes. As the month progresses, you're going to start to feel this need or this call inward to retreat, to reflect, and to redefine what success really means to you. If you are new to my channel, my name is Raphael. I'm an astrologer, tarot reader, numerologist, and energy worker. If you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose, and this resonates, hit that subscribe button. Also, for those of you that always ask me this question, I'm going to tell you yet again, if you're only going to what, if you really want to know the answer to the question, like which one should I watch? The true answer to this is both, and there's a reason, right? You want to watch your sun sign and your ascendant sign because in astrology, and I'm using the whole sign tropical Western astrology for those of you that would like to know, that really does favor and center around your rising sign or your ascendant sign. Um, whereas tarot tends to favor the sun sign. So if you want to get a clearer, more sort of complete or cohesive picture of how to really progress through this, that's going to be your way. Now, with that said, on June the 1st, Venus is coming into a conjunction with Chiron. Now, this for you is taking place in your eighth house, right? And so this is in a lot of ways, this is a tender transit, right? Because Venus, in terms of your chart, she actually represents your money, but also your values and your self-esteem. Venus also represents your ninth house or your perspective or your beliefs on the world. And with Chiron bringing, and all of this happening in the eighth house, with Chiron being there as well, it's stirring emotional wounds around intimacy, shared resources, or potentially even power dynamics where you have or haven't felt, powerless when it comes to things like relationships, in the sense of, your worldview, teachers, or maybe even the communities that you have, access to. It could also be about how you view yourself. Maybe you're facing the aftermath of a past betrayal or reflecting on old financial entanglements and issues that arise. And the thing is, in this day and age, even millionaires have money stuff that they need to work through. This isn't about breaking you. It's actually here to reveal what's the last bit that needs tending to so that you can really make a run for it. Allow this day to be vulnerable because that's what it's going to be, and what hurts right now is really ready to be alchemized. And remember, the eighth house is a spiritual, psychic, and psychological space in the chart. So it's really giving you the ability to delve into some of your wounds, your traumas, your crises, and really get to grips as to what the problems are there. On June the 6th, Venus is coming into the sign of Taurus in your ninth house. Venus is strong in the sign of Taurus. This is the sign that she rules after all. And in the ninth house, she's really bringing a beautifying, harmonizing effect of how you meet the world and how your voice or your message can carry out to larger swathes of people, whether this is through a book or a blog or YouTube or something along those lines. On the very same day, the moon is going to be in the sign of Libra, so in your second house of money, finances, and resources, and she's going to be trying to Gemini, which is in your chart, is in the 10th house, right? So your career sector. So this is pretty nice because Venus shifting into the ninth is smoothing over topics to do with your belief system, long distance travel. If you're making travel plans at this moment in time, it's like the money that you need is there, and you can see how this really benefits your life in some way. Especially if you're going after or for some kind of education, there's a grace that returns to your worldview. You might feel more hopeful about the bigger picture, or maybe even drawn towards beauty in like a spiritual or philosophical kind of way. At the same time, the sweet spot between between the moon and the 10th, the moon in the second and Mercury in the 10th, Mercury being your ruler, It brings ease in career situations and a positive signal around income, recognition for what you do. And it's a really great day to align your purpose with your prosperity. On the June the 8th, Mercury comes into a conjunction with Jupiter in your 10th house, right? Now, this is a big deal because it's at the very tail end of Gemini in your 12th house at 29 degrees in the most public sort of part of your sky. Now, you add to this that Jupiter in your chart rules your fourth house of home, property, real estate, and the seventh house of relationships. Mercury is you, but it's also your career. This is potentially some kind of big opportunity that shows up for you. It's also possibly something around a home or a relationship matter that comes to a really positive head. It could be a day of really big announcements, potentially contracts, or maybe even visionary career planning in some way, especially for things that like really are about the long term. Someone might speak your name in a room that really matters. So it's like someone puts you on, or maybe you finally voice a long-held aspiration of some sort. With Jupiter ruling the fourth and the seventh, this is potentially linking back to or supported nicely by family and or partnership. On the 9th of June, Mercury, the Herald, your ruling planet, comes into your 11th house, into the sign of Cancer. Now, this is a big deal because the tone really shifts here. Your mental energy is turning inward towards community, towards friendships. It is Mercury in Cancer, so there's going to be a lot of memories, potentially things or thoughts of yesteryear and friendships past, etc. Mercury here is bringing heartfelt conversations to your circle. It's helping the reflections about where you belong within the group, where you could lead social groups, where you could be in charge of, or where you want to take a group situation. These things are really coming to the forefront or to the surface at the moment, and let yourself imagine what new futures are possible for you. Dreams, really, at this moment in time, your dreams are needing space before they're sort of strategized or actually turn into something. Give yourself time to talk about them and dream about them and just kind of be in the creative part of it all rather than sort of saying, right, now that I've had this thought, I need to get on with it and da, da, da. Like before you do all of the busy, just do a bit of the dreaming, right? June 10th. So after Mercury has come into this sign, heralding the news, like blowing his little trumpet, saying, "The Lord's use Jupiter is about to enter." Jupiter comes into the sign of Cancer, into your 11th house, where it is exalted. Jupiter does very good work in Cancer, and it's said to be exalted in the 11th house as well. So you get here what we would consider, in effect, double dignity, right? This is lovely. Now, Jupiter in this space is going to expand that. It's going to be there for the next 12 months, expanding, enhancing, bringing helpful people, good opportunities, future orientated goals. The gains from your business are probably likely to enhance or to go up in some way. So that could be really nice. Now, you add to this, though, that on the same day, I mean, obviously, Jupiter and Mercury are very close together at this point, but they are going to square Saturn and Neptune. So, this is stuff that's happening across your 11th house, where Jupiter and Mercury are, and your 8th house, where Saturn and Neptune are. It's a big moment, really, because Jupiter entering that 11th house for that year-long stay is really amplifying your hopes and your connections. And this is really, in a lot of ways, it's about building your future, or building a future that really feels like it's real or solid to you, and not one that's performative in any way. The square to Saturn and Neptune in your 8th house, this is friction between your dreams and your deeper fears around intimacy, trust, long-term investments, what is worth my time, what is worth tying myself to for the long haul. Something might really feel out of reach or unclear at this time. And it's like, okay, it's all right for you to not necessarily know all of the plans just yet, to just kind of let some of it unfold. June is a little bit foggy in the middle, all right? So just know that that is the case and have that be, just something that you kind of take hands off of. On June the 17th, Mars is coming into your sign, into the first house. This is you coming alive. I love Mars in Virgo. I'm actually a very big fan of this transit because when Mars comes into Virgo, it's a good little soldier. It does what it needs to do. It sits in its personal power, but it doles that out in a way that is very precise. So this is like you coming alive, and Mars coming into your sign is giving you energy, drive, courage to act. You might feel more visible, or maybe in a sense as well, simply more ready to start moving or making something happen. Mars for you rules that third house of Scorpios, was the ancient ruler of Mars, and also your eighth house. So this can be like a really powerful month for communicating your boundaries, claiming authority in a specific area of your life, maybe even initiating some deeper work or just being mindful of your own impatience. Channel this Martian energy wisely because it's if you can, it's going to be like focused fire. You might be focused on really looking after your outlook, your mind, your personality. Use the fire consciously. Mars is excitation, irritation, passion, conflict, war. Use it wisely so that it doesn't burn you out. All right. On June the 21st, the sun comes into the sign of Cancer, into your 11th house as well. But this is the summer solstice here in the northern, winter solstice down there in the southern. This solstice, the solstice is always a cosmic turning point. And I always say this to my clients, the day before, the day of, and the day after, that window of time, you really want to observe what's happening in your life at those moments because it's going to tell you what the next 3 months is about. The sun moving into the 11th is bringing your attention. It's bringing light and shining light on your friendships, your long planned goals, visions, and dreams for the future. The things that take more than just you to build is also the 11th house. So, especially where your social and your connective identity, are a part of the fabric of your life. Who are you building with? What are you building towards? These themes of belonging and leadership and contribution are really taking center stage. The sun for you rules the 12th house. So this could also bring a past element into this. And it's not just about your path, it's about the path that you help light up for others as well, right? What is the survival manual that you're leaving behind for others? On June the 22nd, Mercury, your ruler, comes into a trine with the with the North Node in the sign of Pisces, and it also comes into a sextile with the South Node in the sign of Virgo. But for you, this is first house, first and seventh house stuff connecting with the 11th house. And in a lot of ways, that's really potent because it's like Mercury is communication, conversation, but it's also you. So something that you're communicating about your relationships, about yourself, about what you will and won't accept around yourself and what you will and won't accept in or around your relationships. This is coming up for you in a really big way. And then on the 23rd of the month, Mercury squares Chiron. And so this is 11th, 8th house, Mercury at this point will be, yeah, 11th house, 8th house stuff. And it's like you potentially hit a bit of a snag in a group dynamic of some sort, or maybe you realize that you're still healing from a past betrayal around friendships or trust or loyalty in some way. And I will say, if something feels off to you at this time, don't gloss over it. Like, be bold enough to kind of really dig into it so that you can get to the root cause and just squash it. It's not about burning bridges, it's about discerning who really gets access to you and your energy moving forward. On June the 24th, Jupiter comes into a cazimi in your 11th house. This is the sun. This is one of the brightest, luckiest days of the year. It comes into the sun and Jupiter come into a conjunction. This is a cosmic download, a big radiant glimpse of joy, of future joy, of the things that really are possible. The opportunities that you are going to need to make certain things might start to show up from here. And if you've been unsure about what the path forward looks like in terms of the things that you're trying to build for the long term, this might really bring a moment of clarity for you. My only advice with this would be to let it settle in your body before you start sharing what it is with others. Don't chase the outcome. All right, just receive the vision, let it come to you. And those are the rules of seership anyway, right? Is when you have a vision, you have managed to see something, you don't look directly at it because it just disappears. You have to keep it in your periphery, but still be looking at it. It's complex, but don't look directly at it, right? Let it come to you. On June the 25th, Mercury is going to sextile Uranus. So a sextile is an opportunity making aspect. Mercury is you. It's in the 11th house and it's sextile to Uranus, which is in the sign of Taurus in your ninth house. This is a flash of insight or genius, some kind of conversation that maybe happens online, maybe a philosophical, disruptive insight or, a viewpoint on a pattern of some sort comes up. I don't think that this is chaotic because even if it is Uranus energy, I think it's more innovative than that. And it's a really good day for you to brainstorm, to publish, or maybe even think about or reimagine what you feel like is possible for yourself on that sort of life level. And also to ask yourself, have I been believing too small? Is it time for me to start believing, some of the delusions that actually I would really like to have in my life? On June the 26th, the sun is going to sextile Mars. So the sun, still in Cancer in the 11th house, is sextiling Mars in your sign. It's motivation with a mission. Your vitality is high, the goals are clear. Watch out for inflammation of any kind, right? And your ability to lead at this moment in time is sharp, whether this is in your friendship group, whether it's with your business team, on a social platform, stepping into visibility and really gaining a core sense of yourself as a thought leader of some sort offers or offers a path for other people to follow you or really be aligned to what actions you're taking. On the 27th of the month, Mercury comes into the sign of Leo, into your 12th house. Mercury in the 12th is intuitive enhancement, right? In some way, shape, or form. It's coming into the private part of your chart for the next 3 weeks. Don't forget, it's going to go retrograde here. So it is a really good time for journaling, therapy, spiritual connection, maybe even starting to ask yourself, how do I understand myself to be a sovereign spiritual being? What does that actually mean to me? Whatever you say out loud might not necessarily truly reflect what you're feeling at the moment, but there's absolutely, validation in speaking it out. On the 29th of June, we've got a Mercury opposition to Pluto. This is a big deal because it's happening across the 6th and 12th house axis. Your daily habits, patterns, routines, potentials, and obligations may come into a tough spot with what you really feel you need on a mental level and your desire to retreat in some way. This is Mercury, your ruling planet, in the 12th house. So you might feel the need to pull away in a bit. Mental pressure could sort of be a thing at the moment. And it's like, I kind of feel like this is busy is happening and it's all around stuff that you can't really put down right now, but you also understand that actually you need a rest. You might confront old patterns, hidden fears, potentially even possibly power dynamic related to work, service, your own physical health and vitality. And the truth that you've kind of started to be aware of now that's been bubbling up from the depths of your psyche or your body is giving you messages, it's not about fear, it's really about liberating yourself. But it's like the message here is you can't control everything, so stop trying and let things unfold naturally. And then finally, on June the 30th, Venus will start, but not perfect, her conjunction to Uranus in the ninth house. Surprise, love, beauty, or liberation around your belief system. If you're single, you could meet a handsome stranger or somebody that just really shocks you out of your complacency if you have any. A teacher could appear out of nowhere. Some spiritual truth might really start to settle within you now, and you're like, wow, now that I know this, or I see this, or I understand this, or I feel it on a deep level. And feel is the operative word there, because obviously in your chart, Venus rules your second house and your ninth house. So it's like there's something about this that you will feel deeply aligned or resonant to, and that's your warning, that's your guidance to say, yes, this is the right belief or path or practice for me. And actually, this person who is very different to me or from a very different background might really help me understand how to get that over the finish line in some way. That was a mouthful. With that said, I'm not putting the lunations in these videos anymore because they're already too long. Too many people clicking off, it hurts the algorithm, yada, yada, yada. Now, that being said, if you haven't booked your seat yet, there's a link in the description box for the card blending workshop. I'm going to show you how to blend multiple meanings of different cards together so that you can get those clear, concise messages like I do. Trust me, you're going to enjoy this one. And a lot of people have asked for something like this. So I'm hoping I'm going to see you there. The first 20 will get £25 off. It's a full weekend. Well, I say a full weekend. It's Saturday and Sunday, and it's 4 hours each day. We're going to get into it. There's going to be a lot of exercises. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of laughter. There's going to be a lot of taking the guesswork out of it and really simplifying it so that you can get to the nitty-gritty of it. With that said, there's a link in the description box, but we'll give you so much more information that I can here. Stay tuned while we get to your tarot section. Hi Virgo, welcome to your June, can you believe it, June 2025. Welcome to the tarot section of your Master Monthly. So these are the two decks that I'll be using for you today. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So I'm going to give these a shuffle. And remember, I've probably already mentioned it, but I'm going to mention it again. If you haven't got yours already, then remember that this month, should I say on the 7th and 8th of June, we have the card blending workshop. So if you want to learn how to blend the card meanings together, how to synthesize readings, answer questions, how to tie it all in to a cohesive manner, then this workshop is absolutely for you. It's not a webinar. I mean, it is online. So when I say it's not a webinar, what I mean is it's not just me talking at you for 2 days, 4 hours a piece. This is an interactive session. I'm going to get you involved. There's exercises, there's ideas, there's concepts to chuck around. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, in order for you to get the most out of this, you will need to have a basic understanding of the cards and their meanings and the structure of the deck. If you don't know those, then this is probably going to be too advanced for you. If you know that and you can kind of pull cards, then this is going to be fantastic for you. If you're intermediate, advanced, or pro, this is going to be even better for you, right? So it's over 2 days, the 7th and 8th of June. There will be a recording for you to watch back to your own heart's content. There's so much more information on the page. So if you click the link in the description box below, you can get insight into what the course is about. You know, all the information and the details that you need are there. It would be awesome to have you along. All right. So your key to the month this month is the Strength card. So your courage, right? In your heart of hearts, what is the thing that is most important to you at this moment in time? That's what June is really getting you to look at and to pay attention to, and also to listen to your inner self so that you can calm your emotions long enough to really observe how you feel about something. In all of these different areas of life, life itself, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is asking you to be brave and to dig deep to find the strength and the courage that you know you have. Now, for your actions and options, you got the Knight of Swords. it's quite possible that this month there is a hard conversation that needs to be had, right? And this, to me personally, feels like there might be somebody that you have to pull up, somebody that maybe you have to, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's like not pull rank, but it's like maybe you have to set the record straight in some way, or maybe you have to set someone straight. And the reason I say that is because the Knight of Swords is about what you are doing. And so it's like having the guts or the courage to tell somebody, hey, listen, don't do that. Or, you know what, don't talk to me that way. Or, you know what, you've been stealing my work for too long. Or, you know what, let's say you've got employees, actually, I've let this slide time and time again, but now you're taking the piss. Obviously, you wouldn't say it in that way, but it's like there's some conversation that maybe you've been putting off because you know it's not going to be comfortable. And this month you reach that point where it's like, no, this is a conversation that needs to be had, and I need to speak up. I need to say what needs to be said. For your actions and options, when it comes to the options that are available to you, the Knight of Swords is interviews, connections. I wouldn't be surprised as well if, maybe this comes from an unexpected source. It might be that someone asks you for some kind of information. Maybe someone comes to you and says, look, you know what, you do this and you're really good at it. Do you mind if I pick your brains about it? All of the coaches and gurus say, like, if there's something that you want to know about something that you want to do, like something that you want to do, ask somebody who's already done it, right? Take them to lunch or to coffee, ask them how they did it, get a really good understanding of that. It could be that some area of life where you demonstrate expertise, someone may come to you this month and say, look, you know what? We're giving a talk, we've got a webinar, there's a podcast, we'd really like you to be featured. Are you interested in it? And this could be fantastic for that. For your communications and conversations, you have the Hierophant card. Okay, so when it comes to the professional, the academic sphere, and also the communicative sphere, this month I would say cross your T's and dot your I's. You are a Virgo, so you already do these things, but especially where you're dealing with bigger or larger institutions, banks, building societies, corporate structures, maybe even like courthouses, etc. Wherever you're dealing with these kinds of larger or bigger status quo or maybe even industry, institutions, make sure you read the fine print. You just make sure that you're really on top of everything and that it's all structured in the right way. When it comes to this with the Strength card, there is a sense here that maybe you're going up against a bigger or a larger institution because there's something that you disagree with. And maybe this takes a lot of courage, right? Especially when it's like, as an example, when it's your boss. It's hard to do that. Like even me, you all know I'm very, very much well outspoken as a person, right? And I never forget, I remember one day, the last boss that I had, he absolutely tore a stripe off me in front of everybody in the office. And I could feel myself shrinking. And then I was like, actually, no. And I said to him, are you finished? And that just kind of like, in his whole face, he was like, and everybody in the office was like, oh dear. Like, oh dear, like this, we've got to that point. And he was like, what did you say? I said to him, are you finished? And that shut him up, right? And I had to interrupt him because he was overstepping the mark. Like, fine, respect the chain of authority or whatever, but you don't get to talk to me like a piece of crap in front of a whole bunch of people and have me just stand here and take it. It's not going to happen. So sometimes it takes heart, right? Sometimes it takes courage to go up against the boss or the institution or whatever. This month you find it. Now, for those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, this with the Strength card, if you've been worried about the institution that you're studying with and whether they're going to make it, or are they going to end up having to close down? Is my degree going to be put into turmoil or whatever? The answer is no. But it is possible that you may have to wrestle with them on some of the fine print moving forward. When it comes to those of you that are employed by somebody else. Again, something to do with the longevity of your company, especially for those of you that have been worried about things like layoffs. It looks like you've got nothing to worry about for now. But that may be something that comes back on the table as a discussion later on down the line. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, it's possible that this month you have a conversation with a bigger or a larger institution about partnering up, right? Around maybe you want to partner up, maybe they invite you in, maybe a college or a school comes to you and says, look, would really like you to come in and talk to the kids about what you do. Very possible. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, a different message here. For some of you, this might be a month where you're having to interact with or visit somebody in the hospital. I truly hope that that's not the case, but it is a possibility. For your love and relations, you've got the Ace of Swords. So if you're single, this is the courage to start over. Now, if you're single, whether you've been single a month, whether you've been single 10 years, having, the guts and the courage to start over, to get back out there, to start dating again, etc. It is not easy, right? It can be hard. And for a lot of you, I think you're overcoming that this month, which is great. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in a long-term commitment where you've had contracts and commitments that have maybe strained the relationship, not broken it or whatever or anything like that, but where maybe you've had contracts, commitments, maybe even what are they called, obligations that have been a stressor to the marriage. This month you see the result, right? You see the resolution. For your money and materials, you've got the Emperor. Okay, so you've got a lot of institutional energy here. So for those of you that are, when it comes to your money and your finances, Ace of Swords next to the Emperor card, whatever money, finances, or resources you need, they are absolutely available to you. This would be a month where I would say stand your ground and be a little cheeky, right? So if you're buying something or selling something, you want to really stick to your guns when it comes to your money. Now, in terms of the finances, especially where you're dealing with banks, building societies, lending institutions, etc., you got to have the guts, right? You got to have the courage to go for what it is that you really want. Now, for those of you that are, oh my goodness, yeah, for those of you that are, sorry, when it comes to your physical health and vitality, it took me a minute, where you are working with a professional, so this could be anyone from a surgeon right the way through to an acupuncturist, even a tattooist, right? If you're going for a tattoo or something along those lines, it looks like you're doing something that you maybe usually wouldn't do when it comes to your health, but you're, and it's like, not even that it's experimental, it's just different to how you personally would usually approach something, right? It's like you're going against what, so as an example, I don't take tablets. Like if I take a painkiller or, like supplements, I don't count as medication, but like if I'm talking about like antibiotics or painkillers, etc., like for me to take those things, like there has to be something. Like my sister always says to me, like if I say to her like, oh, I've just taken some painkillers, she's like, are you okay? Like she really panics because she knows like I'm not one of those people. Like I really steer, like if you can't get it from food, supplements, or nature, I usually won't touch it. So this could be that maybe you're choosing to do something like that. Maybe you say to yourself, you're one of those people that like, no, I'm never going to mark my body. And maybe you decide, actually, I'm going to get a tattoo. It's like this month you decide to do something that's really against the grain for who you are. And you might get a few strange looks where people are like, wow, like, okay, what's going on with you? And you're like, nothing, I just want to do something different. But when it comes to your health, you may be taking what is a traditional route, but you're doing it in a way that, it's going to turn some heads. And then for those of you that are, sorry, when it comes to your home and environment, this is what you need when it comes to the home making itself available to you. It's also possibly what I would consider like a gentleman's agreement. So there's something that you're shaking hands over here. Another thing is as well, when it comes to the local authority and your living situation, it looks like a lot of you are going to be really looking at stuff like that this month. Which is really interesting in so many ways. If you want to find out how I did that, you know what to do. There's a link to the card blending workshop in the description. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the link in the description box below as well. With that said, take care and I'll see you soon.